Welcome back to my channel. Let's just jump right into the absolute madness that is happening at Forrester Creations right now because my head is still spinning. We need to talk about that moment. You know the one I'm talking about. Steffy Forrester, the woman who usually stands as unyielding as a diamond, is suddenly on the floor. It was a total shocker, right? One minute she is standing her ground, and the next she is being rushed out on a stretcher while everyone screams. But we have to ask the big question that is haunting every single fan right now. Was this a genuine medical catastrophe, or did we just witness the most calculated performance in the history of daytime television? Seriously, think about the timing. Brooke was closing in. Ridge was folding like a lawn chair. Steffy was about to lose her entire world. And then suddenly a heart attack? It feels just a little too convenient, doesn't it? Well, think about the atmosphere in that building lately. Those glass walls at Forrester have always been thick with ambition, but lately, the air has turned downright radioactive. We've been watching this slow-motion car crash for weeks. The Logan and Forrester factions have been gearing up for a corporate apocalypse, and man did it finally explode. Ridge Forrester, who honestly seems to have a spine made of wet cardboard whenever Brooke Logan enters the room, finally did the unthinkable. He didn't just suggest a change. He didn't just ask for a compromise. He officially stripped his own biological daughter of her title as co-CEO. And why? Just to hand the keys to the kingdom to Brooke. Now let's be real for a second. This wasn't just a corporate reshuffle. It was a public execution of Steffy's authority. Why did it happen right now? Because Ridge succumbed to that destructive pull Brooke always has on him. It proves that in his world, his wife's ego is a way higher priority than his daughter's lifelong loyalty. It's honestly sad to watch. Ridge isn't leading this company anymore. He's just appeasing people. He's trying to buy some peace at home by selling his daughter's birthright. What kind of father does that? It shows a staggering lack of foresight and honestly, a total abandonment of his duty as a parent. Do you think he even realized how much he was hurting her? Or was he just too focused on making Brooke happy? When that notification hit Steffy, whether you call it a firing or a demotion like Ridge tried to, the physical reaction was instant. The sources tell us she had a sudden terrifying collapse, right in the middle of a vicious shouting match with Brooke. Brooke was pressing her advantage, pushing and pushing, and then Steffy just went down. It was an acute heart attack brought on by the immense pressure. But here is where it gets really juicy. This collapse? It wasn't just a physical failure. It was a psychological system crash. For years, Steffy has been the backbone of the Forrester legacy. She has put up with the suffocating entitlement of the Logans for way too long. When she hit that floor, it was the ultimate sign that the body keeps the score. She finally realized that all her sacrifices were entirely in vain. Can you imagine the level of abandonment she was feeling in that moment? She looked at her father and didn't see the proud patriarch anymore. She saw a stranger. A weak, compromised man. That heartbreak is real, but you can bet it was quickly replaced by a volcanic, unyielding fury. She's grieving the father she thought she had while also turning into a version of herself that is focused purely on survival. Think of this feint not as a moment of weakness, but as a hard reboot. Like a computer that has too many conflicting programs running at once, loyalty to her dad versus the need to protect herself, her system just shut down. It was a literal hard reset. And honestly, I think Ridge is the ultimate villain here. Firing your daughter to satisfy your wife's ambition is just morally bankrupt. Steffy has every right to feel like her world is on fire because it is. But wait, because the story takes a dark turn once she wakes up in that hospital bed. The sources suggest she realized her brush with death was actually the ultimate trump card. Steffy is a master strategist after all. She didn't stay a victim for long. Instead, she looked at the wreckage of her health and saw a weapon. She realized that if she could link her survival to her CEO title, she could lock Ridge in a psychological prison. If she makes him believe that any move against her is basically a death sentence, he's trapped. It's brilliant, it's Machiavellian, and it's also deeply, deeply sad. She feels so unprotected by the men in her life that she feels she has to extort her own husband, Finn, to keep her father in line. She's choosing power over her own integrity, because she believes power is the only thing that won't betray her. And poor Finn. What a nightmare for him, right? She's pressuring him to falsify medical records and exaggerate how bad she is. She wants Ridge to think that stress will literally kill her. She's basically using medical blackmail. She's not just healing, she's negotiating. It's a stress-free environment or she dies. While I get her desperation, dragging a good man like Finn into these murky, unethical depths is a huge mistake. That's a line you can't uncross. From a psychological standpoint, this is a classic narcissistic injury retaliation. When her professional identity was threatened, she went for a scorched earth policy. If she can't have the company through merit, she'll take it through pity and fear. It's a control mechanism designed to neutralize Brooke forever. But at what cost to her marriage? Do you think Finn can actually live with a lie this big? We also have to talk about the legacy here. Steffy is the granddaughter of the formidable Steffy Forrester. And man is it showing. This feint and the manipulation that follows are pulled straight out of Stephanie's playbook. Remember when Stephanie used to have heart ailments every time she needed to keep Eric away from Brooke? Steffy isn't just acting out of nowhere. She's channeling generations of trauma and strategy. Beneath that tough CEO exterior, she's still just a girl who wants her father to choose her. It's a compulsion to repeat. Ridge repeats his betrayal, and Steffy repeats her grandmother's defensive moves. It's a closed loop of dysfunction. Everyone is just playing a role they were assigned decades ago. Isn't it crazy how history just keeps repeating itself in this family? And then there's the Logan side of things. Hope Logan hasn't just been a bystander. She has been radicalizing her mother. She pushed Brooke to launch this hostile takeover just to save her own floundering fashion line. Hope has gone from the sweet, accommodating face of the company to a ruthless corporate insurgent. She isn't just looking for a job. She's looking for a total professional slaughter of Steffy. Can you believe the quiet, self-satisfied smirk she had while Steffy was being wheeled out? That was the ultimate indignity. Hope is dealing with some major reactive aggression. She feels marginalized, so she has convinced herself that this coup is a righteous act. It's classic cognitive dissonance. She still thinks she's the good girl, while acting with chilling ruthlessness. But there is another version of this story where Steffy doesn't faint at all. Instead, she just packs up and leaves. She heads for Paris or Australia and goes into full queen in exile mode. If you think the medical lie was dark, wait until you hear about this. In this version, she doesn't just leave quietly. She returns to the office in the middle of the night and initiates a permanent deletion protocol for Brooke's entire upcoming collection. We are talking digital assassination. She's erasing Brooke's future because they erased her present. There's a visceral cathartic release in that, don't you think? She's proving that her foundational support was the only thing keeping the building standing. She's turning her absence into a destructive force. And if she goes to Australia, she finds Ivy Forrester. Talk about a powerhouse alliance. These two used to be bitter rivals over Liam, but now they have a common enemy. They are creating a brand called Forrester Legacy. And the name itself is a masterstroke of psychological warfare. It's a blatant slap in the face to Ridge and Eric. They are declaring that the true bloodline and excellence of the name don't live in a building controlled by Brooke Logan. They are building a corporate leviathan, designed specifically to consume and destroy Forrester Creations. Ivy is handling the jewelry, Steffy is doing the couture, and together they are crafting an aesthetic that is dark and seductive. It's way more sophisticated than anything Hope is doing. But beautiful designs aren't enough to win a global trade war. Steffy is using her encyclopedic knowledge of Forrester's vulnerabilities to strangle them. She knows every supply chain weakness and every contractual loophole. She's poaching their most lucrative global partners in the dead of night. She's cutting off their access to premium materials. It's a symphony of destruction. Back in Los Angeles, the realization of what she's doing is going to be catastrophic. When Brooke walks into that office on Monday morning, she's going to find a digital wasteland. The panic will be absolute. They'll realize their entire upcoming collection is just gone, vanished into the ether. And they have no idea how to fix it because they don't have Steffy's skill or temperament. Ridge is going to be forced to confront the monster he created. Those warnings from Carter Walton that he ignored? They're going to be echoing in his ears while the company plunges into a freefall. He'll realize far too late that by choosing Brooke's ambition over Steffy's competence, he didn't just shatter his family. He drove a stake through the heart of his legacy. He's going to reach out for her, hoping she'll come back and clean up the mess like she always does. But Steffy has made a blood oath. She won't answer the emails. She won't accept the apologies. She has one condition: total surrender. Ridge and Brooke have to cross the ocean, enter her Parisian fortress, and drop to their knees. They have to beg her to save the company. It's not just a business dispute anymore. It's a battle for the soul of the family. What's really wild is that while all this is happening, the show is giving us these bizarre parallel medical stories. Have you been following the Liam situation? He's out there clutching his head like a tragic king, having dizzy spells and collapses. His doctor, Grace, told him he had an inoperable brain tumor. Everyone was devastated. But then we find out Grace faked the whole thing. The tumor wasn't real. It raises the question: if the tumor was fake, were the fainting spells even real? Did she drug him? Did she manipulate his blood pressure? It turns out Liam was just a puppet in her plan. It makes you wonder if anyone in this town actually has a real medical degree, or if they all just use the hospital as a stage for their latest scam. Is it just me? Or does it feel like medical fraud is the new fashion trend in LA? You've got Grace faking Liam's tumor, and now you've got Steffy potentially faking the severity of a heart attack. It's enough to make your head spin. And let's not forget poor Zend. He's sitting on the sidelines while Nepo brat RJ gets all the glory. He's frustrated, his designs are on the scrap heap, and he's just about ready to break. If Hope leaves for the Logan company, do you think Zen will follow her? It feels like the entire foundation of Forrester Creations is rotting from the inside out. Even the security guard, Charlie, is back this week, probably trying to figure out why people keep sneaking into the corridors to commit digital sabotage. And then there's Taylor. I am so glad she's back, aren't you? She's seeing Brooke in a new light. And by that I mean she's probably furious. She gave Steffy those shares specifically to protect her from another attack by Ridge. She knew Brooke would eventually get in his ear and convince him to do something crazy. And here we are. Taylor is likely going to reignite her feud with Brooke, and I am here for it. Someone needs to tell Brooke that getting what you deserve doesn't mean stealing someone else's career. But Brooke is just so convinced that she and Ridge are fashion's greatest love story. It's very manipulative, right? She used her lingerie and charms to get Ridge to go over there and demote his own daughter. That is just grimy. So where does this leave us? We have a ticking time bomb in the heart of the company. Whether it's a slip of the tongue from a guilt-ridden Finn or a discrepancy in the medical billing that Brooke finds, the truth is going to come out. And when it does, it's going to be apocalyptic. Ridge won't just be angry, he'll be fundamentally broken. Seeing his daughter as a ruthless, deceitful manipulator will change everything. He might even strip her of the title for real this time, not because of Brooke, but as a punishment for her moral bankruptcy. It would be the ultimate humiliating surrender for Steffy. But until then, she's holding all the cards. I want to know what you think about all this because it is getting intense. First, whose side are you on? Are you Team Steffy or Team Brooke? Do you think Steffy was justified in weaponizing her fragility to keep her job? Or did she cross a line that can never be forgiven? I mean, is manipulation ever okay if you're fighting for your legacy? And what about Ridge? Is he officially the worst father in soap history? He basically traded his daughter's health and career for a consolation prize dress for Brooke. Should Steffy ever forgive him? Or is it time for her to stay in Australia and build her own empire? The drama right now is just on another level. The betrayals, the power plays, the fake medical crises. It's everything we love and hate about the bold and the beautiful. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Steffy's high-stakes collapse and the corporate war that followed, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. And make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications. We are tracking every single digital wasteland and medical lie as they happen. And you don't want to miss the fallout when Ridge finally learns the truth. I'll be down in the comments waiting to hear your theories. Do you think Finn will be the one to spill the secret because of his conscience? Or will Hope find the deleted files and use them to bury Steffy for good? Let's talk about it. Thanks so much for watching and stay bold out there. It's going to be a wild ride as we see who actually ends up with the crown and who ends up with the throne of ashes. We'll see you in the next one.